good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Media Pulse, the show where we help you make sense of Thai politics.
And again, it has been another eventful week as far as politics is concerned.
Exactly. There's a lot of things to talk about, especially the not so entertaining entertainment complex.
All right, we'll come back to this later on. No, but if things go according to schedule, the next general elections will not take place until sometime in 2027, and that is more than 2 years from now.
Yeah.
But interestingly, some major political parties already have their eyes on the next political contest, which is somewhere 2 years down the road.
It's good to be prepared, I guess. And Pheu Thai party, the core party in the current ruling coalition, is definitely one of them.
Okay, and as we all know that the party is so fixated on regaining its political dominance after losing to the Move Forward party in the last general elections 2 years ago.
Yeah, and the Move Forward Party, which is now known as the People's Party, is still considered to be the force to be reckoned with for the Pheu Thai party in the next general election.
Don't forget that the Pheu Thai party won every single elections in the past 20 years or so, right? Except for the last one, which it lost to the Move Forward party.
Yeah, that's true. So definitely they want to come back in the hearts and minds of the voters. It's good to be prepared.
Yeah,
for
that's
them.
right.
That's
And they very much hope that their performance on the issues of bread and butter, right? The economic issues. If they can prove that they can be successful with these policies, then they hope to be able to win, as you said, back the hearts and minds of voters.
However, it is also reverting to the traditional approach that has proven successful in the past. And we'll talk about securing the support of the so-called Ban Yai, which is known in Thai politics as what, dynastic system?
Yeah. No, it refers to families of politicians who wield significant influence in politics, in businesses, and elections. And in the West, these families may be referred to as political dynasties. But we are talking about dynasties in Thailand on a much smaller scale.
For decades, these families have played an important role in shaping the outcome of elections, both at the local and national levels. Each of these families has its own sphere of influence in constituencies in various provinces or regions, including some constituencies in Bangkok. And their role is obviously considered to be an integral part of the patronage system in Thai politics.
But unfortunately for these families, their dominance in Thai politics appear to have been eclipsed by the sudden rise of the Move Forward party, which swept the last general elections.
Yeah.
So they simply put these families on the spot.
The Pheu Thai party believes that the service of these political clans is still indispensable if it is to win the next general election.
And the issue is that it is very clear that in Pheu Thai party, the biggest believer in the power of these political families is none other than former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, who is the party's the de facto leader.
The man himself, yes. Well, the former Prime Minister has been touring provinces in the north and the northeast in the past few months. And officially, he's meant to help campaign in local elections on behalf of the Pheu Thai's candidates.
Officially speaking,
Yeah.
helping the Pheu Thai's candidates.
Yeah.
But on his agenda, high on the agenda, is trying to win back support from these political clans or families for Pheu Thai party in the next general elections.
Yeah, I guess we can be sure that the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra will be very busy hitting the road in many more constituencies across the country. And obviously, he needs to court political clans that he believes will help ensure his daughter's government success.
He certainly needs to make up for the lost time of 17 years that he was in self-exile. And during that period, many of the so-called political clans of Ban Jai felt very alienated from the Pheu Thai party. So now Thaksin has to do extra work to make sure that he is able to help the party patch up the differences and win back the support from these political families.
A lot has changed in 17 years.
Definitely.
Is it going to take shorter than that to come back? We don't know.
No, okay. No, and early this week, Pheu Thai party believes it has scored a major success with a very influential family that has a long history of dominating constituencies on the Thonburi side of Bangkok.
So across the river.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know Bangkok too well. So there's the Bangkok side and across the river, which is still Bangkok, but they call it Thonburi.
And this is the scene that the Pheu Thai party wanted the world to see. Top executives of the party on Tuesday posed for a group photo with members of the Muang Siri family,
Yep.
who swore their allegiance with Pheu Thai party during a carefully organized press media. So why such a big deal with Muang Siri family?
So in short, the family is the epitome of the Ban Yai tradition, and by extension, that means the patronage system in Thai politics. So a little bit of a background, the family, which controls a string of businesses, has dominated both local and national elections in Thonburi constituencies for decades, dating back to 2001. And that was when it was associated with the Thepchai party under Thaksin Shinawatra.
And this is noteworthy because as many as 5 members of the Muang Siri family have been elected MPs over the years. It's considered to be a history-making achievement for the family.
They've got the record.
It's not common for a family, no matter how powerful or influential it is, to be able to win as many house seats for their family members as the Muang Siri family has been able to do.
Yeah. However, it later broke up with the Palang Prachachon or People's Power Party, the successor of Thepchai, right? That was dissolved back then by the Constitutional Court and aligned itself with the Democrat Party, which once a dominant political force in Bangkok.
Okay. So the family, the Muang Siri family, had done so well in previous elections until the last 2 elections, in which the family members, failed so miserably.
Yeah.
And of course, at the hands of the up and coming party, then the Move Forward Party.
Well, Pheu Thai party, meanwhile, managed to win only one house seat in Bangkok in the last general election.
And now with the Muang Siri family back under its wings, Pheu Thai party very much hopes that it will be able to match the Move Forward Party, now known as the People's Party, in the next generation in the Thonburi constituencies.
Yeah, it should also be noted that the Muang Siri family is a compensation for the potential loss of support from Yu Bamrung family. Remember, they had a fallout, and the Yu Bamrung family was another important political clan dominant in Thonburi.
Yeah. If you want to talk about politics on the Thonburi side of Bangkok, you cannot avoid talking about the role, the influence of the Yu Bamrung family, right?
Right, yeah.
The family head, Kun Chalerm Yu Bamrung, a once influential political figure, has broken up with the Pheu Thai party now, as we all know that he was on good terms with Thaksin before, but they have broken up over a lot of issues.
Remember the press conference? Remember Kun Chalerm came out with the press conference talking about Pheu Thai and Thaksin. He was angry.
That's right. And that means that Kun Chalerm may not be with Pheu Thai party in the next general elections.
Yep. And Pheu Thai is not the only political party that is leaning on Ban Yai or political clans to win elections. Thepchai Thai, a senior partner in the ruling coalition, also is seen as a potential rival of the Pheu Thai party in the next election, is also adopting the same approach.
Yeah. In fact, Thepchai party is known to have close connections with a large number of local political clans, which were instrumental in helping the party win in many crucial constituencies in the last general elections.
Yeah, remember the Move Forward Party's victory in the last general election like for the first time, it raised questions whether the days of the old school practice of depending on ban yai or political clans to win elections are over.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Move Forward Party's stunning victory in the last election was due largely to support from new generations of voters and people who were fed up with the patronage system in Thai politics. But now Thaksin and Pheu Thai Party want to demonstrate that their traditional political approach still works. That means leaning on the support of the Ban Yai or the
clans.
political clans.
So the clans are making a comeback. It would not be a surprise if we will see more of the political clans or Ban Yai line up to join or rejoin the Pheu Thai Party and of course Phumjai Thai parties in preparation for the next general election.
It would be very interesting to see how much influence that the so-called Ban Yai system, the patronage system will play or will have on the next general elections. Because in the last general elections, the Move Forward Party won big, not because of support from these people, but from new generation of voters, people who were fed up with the
From using social media.
That's right. So the next election certainly will be a big test between the new generation of voters and people who are fed up with the old school politics and the supporters of the old school politics, the supporters of Ban Yai.
Yeah, true. So the general election, like you said, if things go according to plan, will happen in 2 years' time. But yeah,
we don't see any obstacles that would derail or would delay the next general elections.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So let's come back to this week. The cabinet led by Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra has approved, in principle, a bill on entertainment complex. So what exactly is it, and why is it being talked about a lot in Thailand? Simple answer is the 10%.
Okay. The 10% of the complex
Yeah.
is supposed to be dedicated to
Casino.
casinos, right? Right. But that's a big point of debate, because many critics believe that the talks about setting aside the majority of the areas of the complex to hotels, to convention facilities, concert halls, is just an attempt at disguising the real purpose of this complex, that is to promote casinos.
Yeah, so if there's to be a casino in Thailand, it's going to be the first in history. And this is a contentious point in Thai politics. Those who support it believe that the casino will help legalize or help reduce illegal gambling, that's one, and boost investment and revenue from tourism. And according to the Deputy Finance Minister Chulapan, this new project will help boost tourism by bringing about 20% more tourists to Thailand. But for those who oppose it, they fear social problems as well as transparency problems.
Yeah. I think the biggest fear is that it would promote the gambling habit among many Thais. We know that many Thais are addicted to gambling. The easier you make for them to be able to gamble, the more temptation that they certainly have to go into gambling.
Yeah. The name itself also raises an interesting question. I think in Thailand, there are existing laws for entertainment business venues. Like if you were to open bars, cinemas, golf clubs, shopping malls, there are already laws that govern it. So why do we need a new law for an entertainment complex? Okay. So it's because it's a casino.
No, the supporters of the bill to have entertainment complex often cite what they see as a success of Singapore in introducing the entertainment complex. But in Singapore, they call it integrated resorts.
Okay.
So they have different names, but certainly they're the same thing. So they keep talking about how successful Singapore has been in using these integrated resorts to draw in a lot more tourists. But critics said, why don't you talk about the failures of these casinos in countries like Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar.
Yeah, and they said they're going to charge the locals to go in. So I wonder how is that going to, work for Thai gamblers itself. Anyway, currently the bill has to be considered in detail by the Council of State before being submitted to legislators. And the Secretary General of the Council of State, Kun Pakon, also said that there needs to be a clarification as to what exactly are they drafting here. Why are they not calling it a casino bill outright? So technicality aside, the media is very quick to take steps ahead, and they're looking at who is potentially going to benefit from it. So potential investors. And with the headline that reads things like, let's take a look at which group of investors would like a share of this cake. And I looked at Isara News as well. It also raises the same question as to whether or not the casino will serve the interests of large corporations. So although it is approved in principle by the cabinet, it doesn't mean that every party in the coalition agree with the proposal.
Pheu Thai, which is a senior partner in the coalition government, was originally opposed to the idea of legalizing casinos, right?
Yeah.
But with the bill now being approved by the cabinet, and which still need to be debated in the House, the Pheu Thai party is rather reserved on its comments on the bill.
Still
right?
very quiet.
Very quiet. So, of course, I mean, Pheu Thai party alone would not be able to make much difference, but it would be enough to send a strong signal as to whether or not there's unity among the coalition partners on this very sensitive issue.
And here's what another media now has to say. It describes the situation as coalition parties putting on two acts as they have to deal with this bitter pill. So the real showdown, I guess, of course, is when they actually vote on the bill in Parliament.
But as you just mentioned, it promises to be a very contentious issue. So that means there are a lot of people who are opposed to the bill will not be accepting the bill sitting down. So sure there will be protests.
Yeah.
At what scale we still don't know, but there certainly will be a lot of voices against the bill, and it is still a possibility that there could be even, street protests against the bill.
Yeah. There's the force outside Parliament,
That's right.
or the movement that has been against Thaksin and many other issues surrounding the Shinawat family. For example, Mr. Sonthi Limthongkul, right? He might take to the street. And legalizing gambling could potentially be another reason that they could use to galvanize support.
All right, but this is very interesting because the buzz over the entertainment complex seems to have overshadowed what promises to be an even more controversial venture by the Patchimanon government. That is the move to legalize online gambling.
Yeah, for months now, isn't it? Legalizing online gambling sounded just like an idea that the government is toying with. But all of a sudden, the Patchimanon government now appears to be only a step away from making it happen.
But the problem is that the news about legalizing online gambling was not broken by the government, but by former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra. Isn't that strange? Or this is something that would not surprise us anymore.
Remember, he has no official title in the government. So speaking at an event in Bangkok early this week, Thaksin said his daughter's government was coming up with ways to legalize online gambling, which would help net the country as much as 100 billion baht, or around $3 billion in annual revenues. That's what he says.
But what is interesting is that early on the same day, Prime Minister Patchimanon mentioned nothing about the move to legalize online gambling, while announcing that her cabinet agreed with the draft law on entertainment complex that would legalize casinos, meaning that she did not bother to mention the fact that the move to legalize online gambling was also approved by the cabinet. But she only talked about the bill on the entertainment complex. So that there is a big question mark as to why that very important issue about legalizing online gambling was not mentioned by the Prime Minister herself. But it was left to her father to talk about it.
And it was later confirmed by the Digital Economy and Society Minister, Praset Chantarongthong. He later admitted that the cabinet approved in principle a proposal from his ministry regarding a legal framework to manage online gambling related issues. And he said this on Monday.
Okay. And the whole thing once again reinforces criticism that the Pheu Thai government and the Prime Minister herself has always been under the influence of Kun Thaksin Shinawatra.
Yeah. Pressed by the cabinet's decision on such an important issue was not officially announced by the government. He said the public attention was more on the issue of entertainment complex.
Yeah, and it has always been a question whether this is Thaksin's ideas or the Pheu Thai government's idea. As we know that even without a formal role or position in the government, Thaksin has obviously been throwing his weight around. And in the eyes of his critics, he seems to be dictating every major policy decisions made by the government.
Yeah, he never really shies away from demonstrating that he intends to exert his influence over his daughter's government. So, during one of the recent campaign tours, Thaksin also described himself as being nosy.
It's very interesting.
There's a quote, he says...
He gave himself this moniker.
I know, right? Normally we wouldn't call ourselves nosy, but anyway, he says, I need to poke my nose into everything because this country has so many problems. And no one seems to be in charge of solving them. So
he was simply trying to suggest that only he can really manage problems facing the government.
Wow.
And that's why he needs to poke his nose into every single issue.
Like a superhero. He handles everything. Well, remains to be seen. This is a very contentious issue, I guess, online, offline gambling. It's going to be legalized. And
I'm sure these issues of online gambling and the casinos will occupy a lot of media attention in weeks to come. And I'm sure that it will be another topic of major debate among the coalition partners as well. And we have yet to see parties like Thai or other partners, whether or not they would come up with any new ideas or any opposition to the bill.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. It's a long way away, so follow us and we'll bring you more explanations about what's going on exactly. I guess that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next Saturday.
See you then.